Whoa, this is close. I feel very exposed. Let's take it back a bit. Okay then. I feel like I need to do a warm-up session every single time. It's good to open your vocal cords. Not like I'm gonna sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I got distracted. Happy birthday. I got super duper distracted. Happy birthday to you. I'm done. It's good to open up a little bit. No pun intended there. Hi ninjas and welcome back to my channel. Today we are making a very special cake. Probably say this about all my cakes, but the reason... I drooled a little bit. The more I think about the cake, the more I drool about it, the more I want to eat it. Anyway, the reason why it's special is because it's my dad's favorite cake and it happened to be his birthday over the weekend. So I only thought it fitting that I make a video on my dad's birthday cake that's also a classic tea cake. It is one of the best cakes you're gonna make, not only because it's super simple and not only because it's really yummy, it has nostalgia slapped all over it. It is my date and walnut cake, and my date and walnut cake goes back because if there's one cake you ask my dad, what do you love? It is date and walnut. If you ask him what cake do you want to have for your birthday, it's date and walnut. What cake should I bake over the weekend? Date and walnut. What would you like for dessert? Date and walnut. What would you like for a midnight snack? Date and walnut. I think you get the picture. My father is an advocate for date and walnut cake, so I had to get the perfect recipe. This is a recipe I have been making. I think it's gonna be 10 years and counting. I haven't changed it. I have tweaked it here and there, but the beauty about this recipe is that you can scale it up or you can, what's the opposite of scaling up? Subtract it down. You can add it up or subtract it down. You get my point. You can do that to it. This is a recipe that does not take much of your time to make it. And honestly, it's better the next day. So it's a beautiful make-ahead cake. Apart from the fact that the recipe is so yummy, it looks like one of those bakery style cakes. And I'm just, gonna show you. There you go. So this is the cake. It's got a beautiful sugary walnut crust on top, which is literally granulated sugar and walnuts. That's it. And then you've got the date and walnuts all through the cake. And you know you're having a good cake when all the dates and walnuts have not sunk to the bottom, but they are studded all through the cake. And my secret ingredient, what's in there? This is the secret sauce to making the perfect date and walnut cake. Perfect. And if you don't do this step, your date and walnut cake is not going to be as good as it should be. Orange juice is the answer to your prayers. That's what makes this cake super tender, fluffy, moist, and so yummy and delicious. Don't taste it. It's not like a date, walnut and orange cake. It's a date and walnut cake. You taste a floral, fruity note, but you don't know where it's coming from. I have shared this recipe on the blog a long time ago. This was again one of the Ninja Bake Along recipes that we made, which became so popular. This is the cake for those people who don't like frostings, glazes, and ganaches or anything to do with that. If you don't like cream-based cakes, these are the kind of recipes that you need to have with you at all times to be able to make it. Also, you don't need anything fancy to make it either. You're literally just making it with a whisk and a bowl and Bob's your uncle. You know, I don't know why I keep saying Bob's your uncle, like as if you've got an uncle named Bob. Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so with no further ado, let's make this beautiful date and walnut cake for my dad's birthday. The pressure points of this cake begin and end with your ingredients. We use brown butter instead of melted butter. We are using orange juice to add a little bit of sweetness, but also to give you that softness. And we are using almond meal. We start by pitting our dates and chopping them just like this, but I like to just stir them up as well. You soak them into warm water, and this is the step you do not want to miss. You add your baking soda and then you add the orange juice. And look what happens. It's the acid in the orange juice that reacts with the baking soda that breaks down your dates and gives you this beautiful jammy-like consistency. We then get on to whisking our eggs. Just a bowl and a whisk here. You don't need an electric beater. Then you add in your cooled brown butter and your vanilla. If you don't want to do brown butter, you could do regular butter or you could even do olive oil. You want to whisk this until it's pale and frothy, just like that. We add our dry ingredients, a little bit of cinnamon, and almond meal is what gives this cake a super moist and fluffy texture. Halfway through the folding process, you want to add in your wet mixture and you want to mix it together until it's completely smooth. You want to pour the prepared batter into a lined tin. Now I like to line my tin with a little brush of oil and baking paper at the bottom. You could do baking spray as well. Once your batter is in the tin all the way through, you want to add a few walnuts on top and demerara sugar. Any granulated sugar works fine, but this gives it that delicious crunch once it bakes. You want to bake this at 180 degrees for 40 minutes. However, you should do the test with a knife or a toothpick. Where you poke it in the center, it should come out clean. You take it out from the tin, you remove the baking paper, and you can slice into it warm or let it cool completely. It does not matter. This cake is delicious as it is. But would you take a moment to appreciate how beautiful that crumb texture is? All that's left for me to do now is to it's taste test time. Now, there are tea cakes which you eat with a fork, but there are tea cakes where you don't do that. There are tea cakes you just go in with your hand and you eat it just as it is. And this is one of those cakes. Let's go. Before I do that, you must know that I had the cake already because it was his birthday. I'm not gonna stand here and lie to you and be like, oh my god, I'm trying it for the first time. Firstly, I've had it for the last 10 years. I also had it over the weekend when we ate it for his birthday. But I'm gonna try it now for you so you know what it tastes like because I'm gonna show it to you here. Comprende? Okay then. We always smell our food first before we eat it. I don't know why. By we, I mean me and my multiple personalities. You gotta be accepting of these things. First things first, the cake is beautiful. Can you see dates and walnuts studded through the cake? It's got a lovely color because of the dates and it's got a beautiful crunch on the top, but it's soft and spongy all throughout. So let's get eating. Oh yeah. If you don't smell cake and get that reaction, you're missing out on life. Let's go. I mean, it definitely understood the assignment because it tastes like dates and walnuts, you know? This is a date and walnut cake, but it's so much more than a regular date and walnut cake. It's not your average store-bought date and walnut cake. This is the kind of date and walnut cake that you would serve to royalty. Do you know what I mean? When royalty decided to come to your house, like randomly, you don't know what to do, this is the kind of cake you'd make for them. Because it's so simple to make, but it's so yummy. And also, it'll be nice to see like royalty eat with their hands and not with a fork and a knife. This cake is nostalgic. It takes me back to my childhood days when we would buy this cake from the store because we don't make it at home. And honestly, they were so chindi. Chindi is like they would add very little dates and walnuts and it was more cake and you had to find the dates and walnuts. They were being cheap about it, but add as much as dates and walnuts as you like. This is my dad's favorite cake. So if you don't believe me, believe my dad. He's not gonna lie, he's a very picky eater. I just have to say, happy birthday, Dad. I hope you enjoyed the cake and I just hope that you try it out and make it yourself. It is a simple, yummy, delicious recipe, feeds a crowd, and also, who doesn't like a date and walnut cake? Do you know what I mean? If you have any recipe recommendations, put them in the comments down below so I can go through them and I can make something that you want me to make. Other than that, if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, you know, all the jazz. But I would really appreciate if you also check out the blog. It's got a detailed write-up on all the substitutes you can use, on the steps that you can follow. I've also added step-by-step images for every single step of the recipe. If you do make this recipe, please make sure to tag me on Instagram or anywhere on social media so I can actually see how you get along. Until next time, positive ninja vibes. Gotta turn this off now. Okay.